Hello everyone. So okay, I hope
You can
everybody
start
is
with
seeing this. Okay, so good evening everyone. In today's session, we are going to learn about the floating point representation. Uh, let me make it full screen for you. Okay, but before starting, let us review what are the things that we have covered so far. We have seen the basic structure of computer, that is John von Neumann stored program architecture. Then we understood what are the various memory components, its access methods, and its attributes. One of the memory component is cache. We had talked about its mapping with the main memory. So these three kinds of mapping are there: direct mapping, fully associative mapping, and P-way set associative mapping. And we also seen a numerical with bits requirement to access this cache memory from the main memory blocks. Now we've seen the block replacement algorithm and block optation technique respectively. Thereafter we learn the main memory mapping it with okay. In the main memory we have seen paging and page table requirement along with the TLB. In the last session we have seen the data dependency and its conversion from one base to other base. And today we'll see its realization with the help of practical as well as the theoretical base. So what is a floating point number that we have usually used in programming? When you write a program, we may use a floating point variable like float f equal to 1.75. So once you do that and execute the program after compilation in a typical computer, then the processor loads a 4-byte memory space for the variable f that we have declared in our program. And according to the value of the float value assigned in the program, the bit will be represented in this format. The format says there will be a sign bit, there will be some exponent in that representation, and a significant portion of the program. Let us see with an example. Here is the example. If we write a program float f equal to minus 3.75 as the floating point number using IEEE precision, so usually what computer does, it takes its binary number and convert it into its corresponding binary representation. That is 3.75 equal to 3 is will be converted as 1 1 in binary, whereas 0.75 will be converted as 0.11. We have seen the conversion in the last session. So I hope you understood how to convert this 3.75 to 11.11 with base 2. But how it has been done? It will be represented in a typical format called normalized format. That is, the sign bit is negative, so there will be a representation for sign bit. Sign bit will be denoted by a 1 if it is negative. If it is positive, it will be denoted by 1. Can you all see my cursor position? Can you all see my cursor position? I hope there is difficulty in seeing the cursor position. Here is the sign bit, and this sign bit is corresponding to the negative sign that we have in our number. If it is negative number, then its corresponding value is 1. This is the negative number, so our corresponding value is 1. And this 1.11 need to be stored in the memory. This is the fractional part. 1.111 is the fractional part. This is the significant or the fractional part which will be stored in some segment. We'll see it what number of bits are required to store this fractional part and what number of bits are required to store the exponent. So here 1 base 2 will be equal to 1.111 multiplied with 2 to the power 1. The value will remain same. We are nothing doing. And simply what we did, we kept as a 1 point some value. So we jumped our decimal point or the binary's fractional point one step right, and accordingly we adjusted the base exponent. Okay, so what is the exponent? Exponent is 1. Exponent is 1. Fractional point is 0.111 and sign bit is negative. Sign bit is represented by 1. Fractional part is 0.111. 0.111. This is the fractional part that we have stored. Okay, and the exponent is 1. So while representing in a floating point representation, this exponent is added with a base 127, and the obtained value, that is 128, will be stored in the memory. Okay, so this is how it will be stored. While retrieving the value, how do you retrieve the value? So while retrieving the value, when the computer sees this bit pattern, it looks for the sign bit. If it is 1, it will put a negative number. Then it will extract the fractional part, that is 111, and it will design that 0.111 multiplied by 2 to the power the stored value, that is 128. Stored value is 128 because that is how we stored the value. We had the exponent 1, we added with the bias 127 and we obtained the value 128 and we stored in the memory. While deriving that we have added, exponent need to be subtracted from the stored value, that is 128, and the value will be negative 1.111 into 2 to the power 1. 120 minus 128 minus 127 equal to 1, which will be equal to minus 11.11, that is minus 3.75. This is what the value is that we have stored. Let us go to the next slide. Okay, this is another example, but before going to this example, let us see it with the program and understand its actual representation. Can you see the program? This is the program that I have written. I hope program is visible. So what I did, I have created a float variable and assigned the value minus 7.25. Let me put it side by side so that it will be easy for us to see the values. Okay, okay, the values are seen. Let me adjust it. Excuse me. I hope the presentation slide is visible to you. Let us see its practical implementation and understand how a floating point number is stored in a typical computer. When you see a float variable f is assigned with the value minus 0.2 minus 7.25. Let me change it to the value of the example that we have taken in the slide. The value is 15213.0. Okay, and what I did is I took a character pointer CP. I took a character pointer CP. I have also taken a float pointer and obtained the address of the f variable in CP and FP as well. Thereafter we have cleared the screen to see the output bit clearly, then the first printf function prints the value of f in floating point number format. The second printf function tries to print the float value in hexadecimal format, that is %x. Next printf function tries to print the address of the floating point variable that is available in character pointer CP and FP respectively. Let us see. We have also printed the value of character pointer and float pointer pointed. Okay, star CP signifies the value at that address. So if CP has certain address, then we go to that address and look for its value. And the value will be printed in point D, this %D format, that is decimal format. We know that we have already learned in a C program. So you need to print the value in %D. Then we will print the value of each byte by the help of the character pointer. When we increment a character pointer, it increments only 1 byte. If we increment a float pointer value, it increments for 4 byte location. As because the float value is a 4 byte, so when we increment a float pointer, it increments its size of the float value so that it can point to the next floating point variable. So when you have a character pointer which points to a character variable, if we increment the character pointer value, it will increment by the size of the character, that is 1 byte. Similarly, if it is an integer pointer, if we increment it will be incremented by the size of the integer. If its size is the same pointer. Nevertheless, whatever may be the pointer holds the address of another variable. So the size of the pointer will be 2 byte. In this case, it is a Turbo C compiler. So DOS, it runs on DOS environment. So pointer is of 2 byte. So whatever may be the pointer holds the address of another variable. So address is fixed, so it will be of 2 byte. But then when we increment the pointer value, it increments it's pointing to next location of that type. So character pointer increment by 1, integer pointer increment by 2, float pointer increment by 4. So we took the help of character pointer and let us see how it prints. If you see in the next printing function that I've used, I printed the %x, that is hexadecimal format, value at %p. %p is for hexadecimal format of the pointer value. CP is the character pointer that points to the initial location of float value, and star CP is the value at that point. Okay, then I increment the character pointer and go to the next value and see its address and corresponding value at that location. Similarly, go to the next location and its value. Let's run it and find it out. So I'll run it with Alt F9. I'll compile it first. So it has 2 warning. What are those? Suspicious pointer conversion. Why? Is because I'm converting the float address to a character pointer. That's my so system is expecting us to use a float pointer to hold the address of the float variable. but we are taking a character pointer to hold the address of a float value. That's why it is giving a warning. But uh, we'll skip the warning and run the program. So control F9. This is what the value comes out. Let us analyze the value. This is my float value that I have taken. F equal to 15213.0, and its corresponding value will be equal to 111011011011101. The corresponding binary value is this. So what will be its okay? So what will be its normalized format? So normalized format says I need to change this bit pattern in such a way that the format will look like this: 1 point the fractional part into 2 to the power the exponent that we have seen the format. So what we did, we taken the this binary fractional point from left hand side to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 position to the right. So we have jumped the binary fractional point to the 13th position, and we have multiplied it with 2 to the power 13. So value is not changed. How computer stores the fractional point? This is the fractional point. Point 110110110110110. But interestingly, it will not store the initial one, that is 1 point something. So always it will be 1 point something. So this 1 point is not stored. Okay. So if you see the floating point representation that is denoted in the box, you see the floating point representation denoted in the box. Okay. This box. Can you see this box? I hope you are seeing this box. Let me use a pointer, pen pointer. This is the box. And this is what the value are. So how do you store the value? We have a positive number. So the signed value, if this is the bit pattern of the floating point number, and these values are 004B D664, the hexadecimal representation of the bit pattern. But how it is occurred? So if you see this bit pattern format, there is a sign bit for sign interpretation. The number is positive, so 0 signifies the positive number. And here it has used 8 bit. So 10001100. This is the exponent. This is the exponent. And rest of this number, which is 23 bits of binary number, that is called fractional. Okay. So what is the fractional part? 0.110110. This is the fractional part, the number. So I have stored the fractional part in this section that is called significant portion of the floating point representation. This is my sign number, this is the exponent, and is the floating. There is a significant or the fractional part of the binary number system. So I have kept this binary representation in this number. See, this is 110, 110, 110, 110, 110, 1, and others are 0. But how did we get this exponent? Here the exponent value is 13. So remember what we did in the last example? We added the bias to this existing bias of the normalized bit representation of the number. So 13 is the exponent. Now we added 27 to it. So which will become 140. So 13 plus 127 is the bias for this representation. It has become 140, whose binary equivalent number is 10001100. See, 10001100. This is the 8-bit representation of 140. So we have 23 bits for significant, 8 bit for the exponent, and 1 bit for what? Sign number. And this is what the exponent is, and this is the significant. But interestingly, the first one, or the 1 point something, the red mark, signified the first 1 dot something. This one is not stored in reality. So let us see its actual representation in C. If you see the value here at the first location of the float value, that is FFF2, that is the address of the floating point value. The value is 0. So here the value is 0. And the same, that is value is 0 at the location of FFF2. So I have to take whole byte. So 00000000, it is the 8-bit binary number. So 0, it's a value. That is what has been signified here. 0 at the location of FFF2, the first byte of the floating point number. Next is 4b. Look at this 4b. This is the value that we have stored in the program. So whatever we are seeing in this example is actually implemented in the system, and C as well as other programming languages like Java, Perl, Python, whatever you take, they use this bit format representation, and this is standardized by IEEE in 1985. We'll look at this philosophy. And what about the next bit value? D6. Next location is D6. See, 60 B4. Okay, we need to look at the next location, that is FFF5. The program is not yet complete, so let's go to the program and change and look at this. We increment the pointer further with CP++, then I can print it. So what we do, we copy the printing by using control insert, and paste it using shift insert. Yes, it's been printed. Okay. Now we will compile it. Alt F9. Yes, do warning, but we don't worry about that. We run the program and see. We got again the next 2 byte is also that we have interpreted. That is 4646. Let me clear the drawing. See, 0, first byte is 0. The next byte is 4B. As we have obtained 4B, next byte is D6. It is D6. Next byte is 64. 64. So by this implication, we understood that computer actually store like this. It has to convert into its a normalized format like this. It will take the fractional part of it and put it here. This is the fractional part. This is the fractional part. And it will take the exponent of it, the normalized representation of the floating point number, add bias to this exponent, that is 127 is added, the corresponding value of that is 140, binary representation of 140. This is age store. And as because the number is positive, this sign bit is 0. So we have seen this. So practically we have seen the idea of it. We have a sign bit, we have the exponent, we have the significant. Now let's go to its theoretical aspect. And for that, I will take you to the PDF of it. So this idea is taken from the floating point decimal representation. The value is 256.78. Then the written normalized format is 2.5678 into 10 to the power 2. So see, value is not changed. Only the decimal point is changed 2 digit right. And accordingly, we adjusted the bias of that. So if you multiply 100 to this number, it will always become 256.75. Similarly, with others like 0.03675 can be written as 3.6 into minus, sorry, 10 to the power, excuse me, this is 10 to the power minus 3. Similarly, negative number also can be represented like this. So 256.78 can be written as minus 2.5678 into 10 to the power 2. So what is format? Sine into mantissa, or the fractional part can be usually termed as significant, mantissa, or fractional part. All three are same into 10 to the power exponent. Similar way, this binary representation also designed by IEEE 754 floating representation format, and they inherited the same style. But it has two types of representation. One is of 32-bit, another is of 64-bit format. As we have seen already, it has a fractional part, but in reality it is of 23-bit. We have seen in the example, right? It was 23 bits for the fractional part. That is called mantissa or significant. Then exponent is of 8-bit and sign bit is of 1 bit. So 1 plus 8 plus 23 is equal to 32. In the case of single precision, this is the division. But if you take it to the division of 64-bit, it will look like this. There will be a 52-bit fractional part, 11-bit for exponent, and 1 bit for sign. So we'll look at that. Although it has two different types of representation specified by IEEE, the implicit format is usually in practice. What is implicit and explicit normalization format? Look at this. The value of a given number, as I've already told you, value always relates to the base 10 value. If I have a binary representation, if I ask the value, then I'm asking for the value to the base 10. So here the value can be obtained like this: minus 1 to the power s. S is a sign bit. If the sign bit is 0, this will become 1. So it is a positive number. If sign bit is 1, then this will become negative 1. Is there any problem with JRF? Is there any questions so far? Hello? I'm not getting response from you. Are you all listening? Okay, okay. Swati says yes. So I hope all of you are listening too. So what it is actually? Okay, Jaya also says yes. Let us resume our session. So what it is saying, minus 1 to the power s. If s is 0, it is a positive number. If s is a minus 1, sorry, if s is a 1, then it will be negative. Then if this representation is 0 point fractional point, then it will be explicitly normalized. That means we are only storing the point m or the fractional part. We are not storing the other side of the fraction in floating point representation. So if it is 0, that means we don't need to store it. And if it is 1, even though we are not storing this 1, but presuming this 1 is there. So did you get the difference? The value we had here, we'll look at this example and understand. So value we had it here in the decimal, look at the decimal number. 256.78 can be written as 2.5678 into 10 to the power 2. This is a implicit format. We are not storing 2 in case of decimal, but it will be a difficulty if we don't store in decimal representation because 2 is losing its value. We don't know what is the value here. But in binary, it is always 1 or 0. In decimal, we have 10 different symbols which can be placed here. But in binary, either it is 1 or 0. So we can also write like this: 0.2568 into 10 to the power 3. It will not change the value, rather it will be a different normalized format. Okay, let us take the example and proceed further. This is a example which has the value 1 as sign bit, so it is a negative number. Yes, the exponent is stored like 1 0 1 0 0 0 1 0. So when you have a stored exponent, always remember these values are added with the bias. So what is the value here? 1 0 1 0 0 0 1 1. What is the value? Value is 162. If you find its binary equivalent value, value is actually 162. This is 162. It's binary equivalent. Okay, and this is 0.101. So let us read its value. So according to our system, if we consider it is as implicit format, as it is in practice, we will consider it in implicit format. So in the question, if they don't provide any implicit or explicit, you always assume as implicit normalization. You always assume this value interpretation, that is minus 1 to the power s into 1.m to the base 2 into 2 to the power e dash minus bias. So our e dash is here 162. So let us see its value. According to our representation, this is minus 1 to the power s. S is 1. So this is negative 1 into 1. 1 is not stored here, but still we are putting it. So this is implicitly we are assuming there is a 1 before this binary fractional point. So 1 0 1 0 0 0 0. There are other zeros, like this is the value 1 0 1 and other zeros. Those are the fractional value. So 1 point this fractional value or the multiple into exponent. This is our exponent. This is our exponent. 8-bit exponent. So 162. This is 162. And subtract the bias from it. So if you see its value, negative 1 to the power 1, negative 1 into 1.625, as the value suggests, it is 625 into 2 to the power the value of exponent, that is 162 minus 127, that is the bias, and the value is 35. So negative 1 into 1.625 into 235, 2 to the power 35, equal to minus 5.50583 into 10 to the power 10. So I hope you are convinced with the format. If still you want to realize its value, we can see it in the program. Do you want me to run the program and see its actual value and see the bit pattern? Yes. Okay. We have already seen that in the earlier example, and this will also show the exact value. Okay. So I'm going to the next point. Okay. So as I told you, it has two representation of according to its bit length. One is single precision is of 32 bit, double precision is of 64 bit. The value and representation is same, that is minus 1 to the power sign bit. This 1 bit sign is there in both the cases, 1 bit per sign, 1 bit per sign. And in 32 bit it is 8 bit exponent, whereas in 64 bit it is 11 bit for exponent. And here it is 23 bit for mantissa, here it is 52 bit for mantissa. Okay. It is always the E dash value will be ranging from 1 to 254. Okay, there is a question for you. If we have a 8-bit binary exponent, what could be its possible ranges? Type the answer in your chat box. If you have a 8-bit binary number, here it is 8-bit binary number, what could be its possible ranges? It is 80 to 81. So what is the value for 80? Value is 0. If there are 8 ones, what would be its value? 255. So why I have given 1 and 254. It is specially reserved 0 and 255. Although the EDES can range, EDES is of 8 bit, so it can range from 0 to 55. But knowingly, the 0 and 255 are used for special purpose. And EDES, valid floating point number, can range, the exponent value can range from 1 to 254. So to put the exponent in its negative interpretation, we have added bias to it. And this it is equal to e plus 127. So when we find the exponent in evaluation, exponent can be equal to minus 126. We have 120 plus 127 here. If we take to the left hand side, it will become minus 126. And similarly, if we take it to the right hand side, 254 minus 127 is equal to 127. So E, the exponential value that we evaluate, can range from minus 126 to 127. But in reality, when we store it, it ranges from 1 to 254. Okay. So why we have preserved this value 0, 0 and 255? Then here 0 and 255 are knowingly reserved. Let us go and see why it is reserved. It is reserved to represent the value of 0 and infinite. So if the exponent is represent all 0 and multiply is also all 0, we call it as a 0. But if the sign bit is 0, it is a positive 0. If sign bit is 1, it is a negative 1. So interestingly, floating point number has two representation of 0. There is a positive 0 and negative 0. And there is another possibility is that if the exponent is 255, that means all 8 bits are 1 and mantissa is 0. In that case, this will be a infinite number. This will be treated as infinite number. Again, if sign bit is 0, it is a positive infinite. If it is 1, negative infinite. But there is a possibility when E exponent is 0, but the mantissa is not. In that case, the value will be evaluated as a D-normal number. I'll talk about that a bit later. Before that, let us see two more examples with this interpretation. What is the value of floating point value with the following bit pattern? The bit pattern is like this. Can you find the value of it? Take time and try to evaluate this. Am I audible? There's a question, evaluate. Question A. And say me the answer. Although it is showing in the screen, let me hide it. If this is the value, with this basic knowledge, the value, if you want to write it down, you may write it. The value is equal to minus 1 to the power s into 1 point mantissa, or the fractional value, into 2 to the power the exponent. And while storing the exponent, it is always added with the bias 127. So what we have here, the E dash is equal to 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. The value is 1, this is 128 plus 2 plus 1. So 131. 131. And this is the added with bias 127. Okay. And what is the mantissa? Mantissa is 1 point. So 1.11. So 1 is implicitly assumed. It is not stored in the floating point number, rather it is implicitly understood. There is a 1 before this binary point. Value is equal to 1.75. If we find the mantissa, the equivalent value is 1.75. The exponent is, the value is 131. The total value of E dash is 131. I have subtracted the bias 127. So actual exponent for evaluation is 4. So I have 175, sorry, 1.75 is the mantissa and 2 is the bias. Again, 4 is the evaluated exponent. So always remember, while storing the value, if you have exponent 4, you need to add 127 bias to store in the bit format here. EDS is equal to 4 plus 127. But when you are retrieving the value, you always subtract the bias from the EDS. Okay. Okay. There's another example here. This example says 0 is signified as a positive number. Minus 1 to the power 0 is 1. So positive number. But here interestingly, E dash is 0. All zeros. And but the mantissa is not. So as we have seen in our interpretation, if E is 0 and mantissa is not, there is another repetition of this. This is called denormal number. Okay, and here the value is minus 1 to the power s into 0.m into 2 to the power minus 126. So exponent is fixed, that is minus 126. But the mantissa is provided. So when you see all the exponent 0, by default you put your exponent as minus 126 because exponent is not provided here. So this will be a denormal number and hence this value is minus 126. So what will be its value? So we'll use explicit format for this. We don't assume there is a 1 here. Had it been implicit, I would have placed 1 here. But this is 1. This is not 1.m. Rather, this is 0.m. So it is 0.11. This is 0.11. So 0.11 is equal to, again, if you evaluate this, the value will become 0.75. And 2 to the power minus 126. So again, if you do a little bit of mathematics, you'll find the value. Don't worry about it. I'll provide you this PDF so that you can refer it later. Let me erase this drawing. Okay. We will also see two things today: addition and subtraction of this kind of number with the help of example. So look at this. We have an example as a equal to 1.1, a equal to 1.1 to the base 2 into 2 to the power 3 is the first number. Second number is 11.01 to the base 2 into 2 to the power minus 1. And we want to multiply these two numbers. Okay, no, sorry. First we need to add. We'll add, subtract, then we'll multiply and divide. So we want to add these two numbers. Okay. So how do you add these two numbers? This is a different value and this is a different value, and both are multiplied. Like you can say a x b y. How do you add ax plus by? So in this case, how do you do? How to do addition? unless there is a common component. You can't add these two numbers. So what you will do, you somehow make some changes to some number so that their exponent will be aligned. Now, how to do that? To align the exponent, first you need to find out the smaller number between these two. So which one is smaller exponent? B is a smaller exponent. Okay, B has 2 to the power minus 1. It has, but A has 2 to the power 3. So what will I do? We take this binary point. There is 1, 1.01. Let me use the pen. This 1.11, and we take this decimal point from here to here. And when you take it decimal point here to here, what do you need to do? We are, while taking this binary fractional point from here to here, we are dividing this number by 2, 4, 8, 16. So in this case, what you need to do, again, you need to multiply the base accordingly. So we have taken 4, so you have to add 4 to it. So initially it was minus 1. If you add 4, this will become 2 to the power 3. So now this value of B, the same value is not changing. It's a representation of B, and this is the representation of A. Now if you want to add A and B, what you can do? You take 2 to the power 3 as common and add these two values. This value and this value can be added directly, keeping 2 to the power 3 as common. So look at this. So A plus B can be done 1.1 into 2 to the power 3. There is the value of A. Then 0.001101 into 2 to the power 3. There is the value of B with little modification. The value is not changed, either it is interpreted differently. Bias is changed and the decimal binary fractional point is jumped to a different position. So here it is easy to add, like 1.1 added it is 0.00, and whatever the number is, it will become 1.101101 into 2 to the power 3. So the primary idea of addition is that alignment of exponent. You need to change the exponent and align with the exponent present with the other number, that is 3. Okay. No. Okay. As you have seen, there are various representations of zeros plus infinity plus numbers which are not represented in this floating point format. I have tabulated in a chart. If you can see, this is sign bit, the exponent, then Martisa. Martisa, if we consider the single precision representation, Martisa is of 23-bit, exponent is of 8-bit, whereas sign bit is of 1 bit, 1 binary bit. Okay. So if the zero sign bit is 0, it is positive, sign bit is 1, negative. We all know this. Let's look at this representation. Both the value of exponent and multiplier are 0, the value will be treated as 0. If it is a positive sign, it's positive 0, negative sign, it will be negative 0. Okay, with the positive sign, it's a positive 0. There's a negative sign, there's a 1. So negative.
Hello,
Yes,
Amir.
hello. Sir. Hello.
Yeah, Amir. Jaya has some question. Can you please reply
Okay.
to her, or you can unmute to her?
Okay.
Yeah, Jaya, you can speak now.
Okay.
I want to know that the smaller exponent only have to change the value.
Yes. Yes. The other way around can be also possible, but we usually don't do it. But it is also possible. You can change it. I mean, you can also align the higher higher order exponent to the lower order exponent. Okay, let us take
Okay.
the
Thank you,
okay.
sir.
Wait. Let me go to that slide and tell you about that. This is also can be done like this. So A can be, I mean, done like this. The aligned end of A. So if everybody is listening, look at this example that we have just now referred. Jaya has asked, can we
One,
align? Sorry.
1 minute, Amish. Swati, do you have any question? Swati, are you there? Soumya, Swati, anyone is having any questions? You can put across in the chat box so that sir can at least view that and answer. Thank you, Swati.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sir, you can
Yes.
continue.
Yes. Anytime you have any doubt, you please raise your. I mean, there's a poll. I mean, it is at your right hand side. There's a console, I guess, where you can raise your hand, or else you can chat. You can enter some questions in the chat box. Okay. So I'm seeing the chat box in the simultaneously while giving you this instruction. So if any doubt come across through this session, you can write it that. Okay. Okay. So just few seconds before, Jaya asked, why can't we change the exponent of higher order to the lower order number? Yes, it can be done. This is other way around. You can change the exponent of a, that is 1.1 to the base 2 into 2 to the power 3. The value of a is this. So we have exponent 3. And here b's exponent is -1. So we can change it. Like a value can be rewritten as like this. So in this case, what you need to do, the binary point need to be tracked to the right hand side of it. So binary point is 1.1 will be need to be placed here so that the value will become -1. So we have already seen, right? If the value, if this is, what is the value of it? Is a 1. If I put 0, it is 2 in binary representation. If I place another 0, this 4 in binary representation. So by putting 0, what I'm doing? I'm doubling the value. So this can be realized like this. 1, the value is 1. 1, 0 into 2 to the power -1. Again, the value is 1 only because I have multiplied with 2, but at the same time I have also divided with 2. Same thing is done here. So while putting all zeros, I am multiplying it 2, but at the same time also subtracted the exponent from the 3 so that I reach to uh, the other value of the exponent that is there in the b. Okay. Okay. Let us go to the next page. Okay, this is the chart that we are discussing. So we have seen this like positive 0, negative 0. If all the exponent and mantissa are zeros, then we'll determine the value as 0. And according to the sign bit, either it will be a 0, positive 0 or negative 0. Again, as we have already discussed, if the bias is all 1, that is value is 255, and the fractional part is 0, that will be treated as infinite. According to the sign number, it is positive number, positive infinite, or negative infinite. Okay. There is a possibility when the uh, the exponents are all ones. In this case, what it is being interpreted as not a number. Whatever the value of exponent it may be, I mean, whatever the value of significant it may be, that is not equal to 0, even then, the value will be treated as not valid or not as a number. Okay. Yes, either the sign bit is 0 or 1. If the exponent is 255 and there is a valid fractional part, even then the value will not be treated as a number in the floating point representation. And what will be a valid representation? Valid representation is this: the sign bit has to be either 0 or 1. Okay, and the exponent can range from 0 to 255, but that cannot be 0 or 255. You can see it's strictly okay. Let me use the pen. Yeah, so it is not equal to greater than or equal to. If I can write like this: 1 greater than or equal to C greater than or equal to 254, 254, and F can be any value in this. Okay. Okay. There was another possibility that we have already discussed that is called d-normal number. When the exponent is 0, you use exponent as minus 126. When the exponent is 0, you use this exponent as minus 126. This is what is called denormalized or denormal number. So according to the sign bit, it may be positive, it may be a negative. The value is like this. The exponent is 0, so this signifies there is a exponent as minus 126. And one more thing, there is no 1 here. F value is stored here. In other cases, it is 1 point something, but here in denormal number, it is always 0 point fractional part. Okay, so let me erase all the drawings here and go to the next slide. Okay, now look at this line or timeline of floating point number. Okay, can you represent 0 here? There was, if we use this representation of the IEEE, there is an explicit notation for 0. Otherwise, by using the implicit format, you can't write or you can't interpret 0. Why is that? Because the format says 1 point mantissa into 2 to the power exponent minus bias, that is 126. 7, and minus 1 to the power s. So in this case, this uh, this 1 is determine the value. So this whatever may be the e dash or s, this will be something 1 point something. This cannot be 0. That is the reason there is a specific notation for 0. If the exponent is 0, if the multiply is 0, then whatever may be the value of this value will be treated as 0. But in fact, that is not 0. The value is minus 1 to the power 0 is equal to 1 into 1 into 2 to the power minus 127. Even though you put e dash equal to 0, the and m equal to 0, what is its actual value? 1 into 2 to the power minus 127. There is a special representation for 0. And these values, this underflow and values are actually not representable in floating point number. What is presentable here is this portion. Okay. This is a extended chart. I'll provide you to you. I'll ask sir to provide this to you. And yes, I would like to discuss two more things here. One is uh, floating point number multiplication and division. So we can do this with an example. Example will be a better illustration for the concept here. Again, we take A and B. You can see it. Okay. And what do you do? Again, we need to align the exponent. Okay. So we can do the multiplication. And the similar fashion, we choose the value with smaller exponent and we'll change the value of b. That is b equal to 1.01, and we can change it to, let me use the pen. The value of b can be changed to this value by with a certain mathematical operation. You know that, right? So after doing that, you can directly this is for explicit normalization. Excuse me. Hello. Yeah. So after doing alignment, you can use this two number. Okay. For addition case, you need to align these two exponent. Then only we can add. For multiplication, what you need to do? You take two number, let's say x equal to xx plus xn to the base 2 into to the power ex minus bias. This is the representation of a typical number. Another number is y. This is its representation, and you want to find out the result of multiplication of these two value x and y. This is the x and y. So how do you multiply that? You take the sine bit of x, just take the sine bit of y and XOR them, so that we can find the resultant sine bit of ZS. Then to find the Zm, the fractional part of the result, what do you need to do? You take the fractional part of Xn and multiply with the fractional part of Y, that is Y. So you will get Zm. To get the exponent, you do the same thing. You have the bias and you multiply. When you multiply this, you add these two bias. While adding, it will become Ex plus Ey plus minus Ex plus bias, Ex minus bias, this one, plus Ex minus bias. This will become Ex plus Ey minus 2 bias are there, minus 2 bias. This should be one bias, so we can add one bias to it and it will become Ex plus Ey minus bias. This is how we do. Similarly with the multiplication, these are less likely to asked, but still then I would like to discuss it for this completion of this understanding. Similarly for division also, you can do the same thing. The sign bit can be obtained with the XOR of sign bit of XS and YS. Okay, and the fractional part can be divided individually to get its fractional part of ZM, that is, and the exponent can be subtracted. So exponent was, what was the exponent? Ex minus bias. Then for y we had Ey minus bias. So if you subtract them, the bias will get cancelled. So we'll have Ex minus Ey. But it doesn't have any bias here. So to do a correction, we need to add one more bias here. So in multiplication, let me erase these drawings. So in multiplication, we add one bias. Sorry, in multiplication, we add one bias. In division, we subtract one bias. This is how we do. So what we have covered so far, we have seen the floating point representation, which has sign bit, exponent, and significant. We evaluated its real value with an example of C program and see how theory is related to practice. And we have also seen its different kinds of representation with the help of a tabulated chart, like positive 0, negative 0, plus infinity, minus infinity, not a number, then actual feasible floating point number, then denormal number. Okay. Apart from this, we have also seen the addition and multiplication and division of this floating point number. This is all. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will end this session. Do you have any queries? So, thank you for joining this session. Then we'll end the session here and we'll meet in the next upcoming session.